Greetings from the Commerce Society Hansraj College and welcome to Financiaga, the Investment Finance Sales interview series. Financiaga is where we delve into the dynamic world of finance by speaking with industry leaders who share their expertise and personal journeys. Our goal is to explore different dimensions of financial landscape, investment, risk management, sustainable finance, and more to inspire and educate the next generation of young finance professionals. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Mr. Abhishek Gupta, co-founder of Grasp Equity Research Services, to the podcast. With over a decade of experience in the Indian equity markets, his journey in the market began at Religare, where he honed his skills in trading derivatives. His experience during the 2008 market crash transformed his approach to investing, leading him to develop a disciplined long-term philosophy inspired by classic works like The Intelligent Investor. He has since achieved an impressive 20% compound annual growth rate over 13 years, managing both personal and untrusted portfolios. Now, as a dedicated investor, he brings a wealth of knowledge and deep understanding of markets. We're excited to hear his journey in the financial markets, insight on building a successful portfolio and evolving trends in the equity markets. So, I'd like to take this moment to thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. We truly appreciate you sharing your knowledge and expertise given your busy schedule. Your insights will undoubtedly provide immense value to us. Thanks a lot for being here.
Anya, first, I would like to thank you that you have given me the opportunity to speak here and share my investment journey. I would love to share this journey uh, with the students because I started late into this investment journey. I don't want the I at least want the other student to start this journey as early as possible. So
Yeah,
I would love to share my investment journey with them so that they can start early.
sure, sir. So now then we'll move directly to the main segment, right? So I think we can begin. You can begin by telling by how you started your journey in finance, how you started from the very start up till this point, whatever challenges you went through, all the highs and the lows of your journey. All over
So
to you, sir.
yeah, so I can like start with 2007, like when I first entered into the market after my college. So it was like a totally new for me. Whatever like I have learned in my college, because the practically the markets work in a different way as compared to what we study in our college. So when I entered in 2007, markets was making high every other day. So I was not. It was not difficult to get the clients because market was making high, and the clients are willing to give their money to invest. So at that time, everything was going smooth. Clients were making money. We were happy. We were like, I would not say bonuses because I was moved to the derivative desk, even though I was not good at it. But just because you know that when you're working in a brokerage company, you have to generate a brokerage because that is the bread and butter for a brokerage firm. So even though I was not aware, but I was like doing this complex instrument, working in this complex instrument without any risk management. So everything was going smooth. Then came January 2008. I don't know the exact date, but I think it was 22 or 23. It was after the Reliance Power IPO, which was one of the biggest IPO at that time. So market in one day crashed by 10%. So by 10% mean there is all 10% mean there is a circuit of 10%. Market opened after 10% fall and again it went down 10%. So I was like shocked because I have not seen this in my last 15 months, that this ferocious fall. And all my clients' money, which they invested in last 1.5 years, they were like gone in just 2 days. And I think not 2 days. Yeah, in 2 days, the entire money which they invested in 1.5 year, it was gone. So um, I felt really bad at that time that like they have given me the money to invest and I have like lost their money. So I didn't lost my money. It was client money because I was just started. So then I thought like, what's the reason of this fall? I was because I tried to get this answer from my friends and within my family members who were involved in this, but I didn't get any answer to this why the market fall. Then someone told me to like, why don't you do a course, the CFA course, the US one. So I completed my level one. Once I completed my level one, I was more stronger academically because now I have the experience of the market. Plus, I was reading those terminologies in the book because the first level talks about the concepts. So then, maybe accidentally, I picked up the intelligent investor. So this time, I picked up the intelligent investor second time. First time, when I went to the college, my professor told me to read this book. So I went to the library and picked this book. When I see the first couple of pages, I was like blank because there were terminologies like ROE, ROCE, and other terminology because we have never like used those terminologies. For me, it was totally new. So when I didn't know about those terminology, there I could not like complete the entire book. But this time around, because of level one, I was able to understand these terminologies. Um, I was able to complete the entire book. So in that book, I got my answers because that book tells you about the 100-year history of the US since 1929. So that give me the solution because what I saw in that book was that what happened in 2008 is not something new. It has happened in the past as well. In 1929 also it fall. Then 1970 there was oil crisis. Then it fall. Then there 1996 there is currency crisis in Asia. And then we have the dot-com bubble. And in Indian context, we have the Harshad Mehta uh, crash. So then I realized that this is the fall, which happened in 2008, was basically it's the nature of the market. So whenever there is any euphoria, it has to come down, and it has to come down. So what I learned about market is like day and night, right? So currently, if it's day, there is bound to be night, and again the day will come. So what happened in 2008 will repeat again. In which manner, no one knows, but it will be repeated. So this is something which again happened in 2020, and again it will happen whenever there is any whenever the market reach to a level which is unsustainable. So to protect myself from those falls, I realized that the best approach is to invest for the long term, right? Invest via SIP because we get our salary on a month on month basis. So it's better that we invest also on a month on month basis. So that ways, no matter what happens, in the end, market will only go up. If you take the last 100-year history, no matter what happened, we have the Great Depression, then oil crisis, dot-com bubble, then the financial crisis, but market always made a new high. So then I realized that in the equity, even though people say is the highest asset with the risk, but when you invest for the long term, the risk eliminates, right? Because 10, 15 years, it do the average of up and down both. So then I like realized that what I have to do is first, I should not invest in companies which has high leverage, so that the companies with low leverage will be able to defend themselves during the slowdown. And there has to be high promoter stake so that their skin is also in the game. If you lost money, they'll also lost money. So they should at least give their 100% to save the company. So this is how. I started my again like started my investment journey once this after the 2008 crash.
And that's amazing. Even as people from, finance backgrounds, as from students as commerce backgrounds, I think it's really important for us to understand the ups and downs of the market itself, right? Ups and downs that comes with with investing. So can you just tell us more about, in all the books, all the literature that you went through, all that taught you investing, how your experience shaped it up?
So as I told you, see, apart from books, I think the first thing which you have to do is, as a young investor, you have to read the business newspaper daily,
Yeah.
right? Because business newspapers gives you perspective, and it is once I was attending one of the training from a fundamental analyst. He told me that this newspaper is the cheapest in the world because in 2 3 rupees a paper you get lot of articles to read, which is not when you buy a book it is worth 500 10,000, but this whole newspaper which has lot of information you get just for 3 4 rupees. So first read the newspaper because that gives you perspective what is happening around the globe, and you will be able to relate whatever you have learned academically. For example, the interest rates, the inflation, the exchange rate, GDP, fiscal deficit, budget deficit, because these are the terminologies which you have read academically, but when you read the newspaper you will practically see how these things work and how these things impact the market. Because increase in fiscal deficit, how it will impact, better fiscal deficit, how it will impact, it will only because through newspaper only you will able to see, and then that those concepts will be like stay in your mind. Then start with this. Then apart from this, read the books. Books just like I started with an intelligent investor, but you can start with say Rich Dad Poor Dad, Psychology of Money, and then when you know those terminologies, then you pick up books like The Intelligent Investor or The Common Stock, Uncommon Profit, One Up Wall Street by Peter Lynch. Read the biography of Warren Buffett. Apart from this, also go through the videos of people like Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, Ramdev Agarwal, Vijay Kedia, or those people who are like vintage in this industries, who are here since 90s, because they have seen those falls and they are reason beyond those falls. So I would suggest that instead of focusing on the new age fin influencers, focus on these vintage people because fin influencers they have not seen those crises, the big crises. They all came after 2020, but they'll give you the real picture because they have gone through those phases. So see their videos, see their interviews. Apart from that, if possible, join the take the CFA course. I think it's a very beautiful course because it covers everything you see in the newspaper or around you. So and that course is something which you can do along with your job. And this course will help you in your career at the same time in your investment journey also. So these are my suggestions for this.
Okay. And so just a bit of follow-up on that. How would you say, actually investing into the market, having your skin in the game differs from just, having the theoretical knowledge or just reading up on theory? How is it different from actually having your skin in the game, actually investing out there?
So see, what happens is when you invest your own money, right?
Yes.
Then the difference is emotions, right? When you are doing it theoretically, right, on papers, market goes down, it will not impact you because you are doing it theoretically. But when you are doing it practically, even if you have put in say 10 20,000 and if it goes down by 30 40%, you know that you have lost a amount. So you, because you are emotionally and you have put in your money, then you will analyze what had happened, what was the reason behind this fall. Whereas when you do it theoretically, then your emotions will not play because you haven't lost anything. So I would suggest start with small. Like I started again in 2011. So I started with 5,000 rupees per month. So and I have like set a target also for yourself. So I set a target for myself to be a to reach 1 CR by 2020. I don't know how that target came to my mind, but somehow I realized that I can achieve that number. So I started with 5,000 amount. So when you start with small, what happens is your learning would be the same even you invest 50,000 rupees a month. But when you start small, your loss is less, but the learning would be same. As you grow, say next 2 years, 3 years, as you grow, as you read more newspapers and books, your knowledge will increase. Then you will be more comfortable putting more amount into it. So best strategy is to start small, then gradually after after 1 year, when your salary increase that amount by 10%, 20%, and then after 10 years, then you will see the effect of compounding. The compounding, as Albert Einstein says, that it's the seventh or the sorry or the eighth wonder of the world. Initially, you will not realize, but once you reach to that number, and then you will see your capital multiply in 4 years, 5 years. If I can, I'll give you a practical example, and I'll talk about the number only. As I told you that I set my target of 1 CR by 2020. In 2020, I did not reach because of the COVID, but in 2021, September, I reached that target of 1 CR. So next, it took me 11 years to reach there. So I don't think I will in next 1 CR will take me around say 5.5 years. And similarly, the other next will take half of the time. So once you reach to that number, the number of years to get it double will be less, right? And it will give you so much cushion, right? That when you will not when you will be doing your job, right, you will do your job confidently because you know that there is some buffer which you have been created in last 15 years which will support you in case something happens. And see, I have spent around 14, 15 years in the corporate world. So what I have seen is what happens is like people buy houses or other things and they like uh, give a lot of EMIs, like 40, 50% of the income goes into EMIs. So they are under so much pressure that they have to give their EMIs. So when it's come to a strong decision in a company, they become defensive because they realize that if I say something which management don't like it, my job would be at risk, and then it will be very difficult for me to give the EMIs. But when you have this cushion and you are debt free, then you take a call. Maybe the opinion or the advice which you want to give is good for the company and taken in a good spirit by the company. But that confidence comes when you have that cushion with you. So I would suggest start with small, gradually increase the amount as your knowledge increases, and set up a target of 1 CR. So because now you have some target in your mind.
Okay. And sir, on the matter of, starting small, what in sort of maybe investment vehicles would you suggest for an average college student in India who, let's say, can only invest maybe 500 per month?
So uh, let me give you a example. Even my आंटी, my घर पे मेरी आंटी हैं जो मेरे किड्स का ध्यान रखती हैं, तो हमने उनका भी एक फंड में अपने SIP चला रखा है और 1,000 रुपीज. तो even 1,000 क्या होता है यार, तुम you just went out, you have the like 1000 आप ऐसे ही खर्च कर देते हो इन 2 meals when you go to a McDonald's 3-4 meals can you spend that 1000 rupees. तो उन्होंने 1000 इन्वेस्ट करा है, दैट 1000 फॉर आई थिंक इट्स बीन 3.5 years, दैट अमाउंट हैज बीन इंक्रीज टू around 95,000. So their her invested amount is for I think 45 or 50,000, but the current value is close to 95,000. So this small amount, which is for her, is not that important, but this small amount actually increased to 1 lakh, which will help her in like doing something. So what I would suggest to the college students is कि आप म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट करो, ठीक है. आई थिंक द मिनिमम इज 500. सी इट्स नॉट अबाउट द अमाउंट, इट्स अबाउट द डिसिप्लिन. ठीक है कि आपको कंसिस्टेंसी रखनी है. और होता क्या है कि जब आप इन्वेस्ट करोगे ना, फाइव इवन यू स्टार्ट विद 500, जब आपको ग्रीन में दिखेगा ना आफ्टर 1.5 years, आपको दिखेगा कि यू हैव इन्वेस्टेड से 10,000 रुपीज विच इज़ वर्थ नाउ से 13,000 रुपीज. तो यू फील कॉन्फिडेंट कि नहीं यार, यहाँ पे अगर मैं इस 500, यू डू दी मैथमेटिक्स जैसे आप लोग कर लोगे, कि मैं अगर इसको 1000 से इंक्रीज कर दूँ या मैं इसको 1500 से इंक्रीज कर दूँ तो ये मेरा अमाउंट इतना हो जाएगा. तो ग्रेजुअली जैसे जैसे आपकी सैलरी इंक्रीज हो एवरी ईयर देन इंक्रीज दैट अमाउंट. मेन क्या है यार, इट्स नॉट अबाउट द स्मॉल अमाउंट, इट्स अबाउट द डिसिप्लिन, कि आपको वो डिसिप्लिन मेंटेन रखना है फॉर नेक्स्ट 10-15 years और इनफैक्ट 20 years. आपको सेल करना ही क्यों है, आप उसको ग्रो करो ना टिल योर रिटायरमेंट.
Yeah. And so you mainly suggest people investing in mutual funds, right? Mutual funds.
म्यूचुअल फंड में स्टार्ट करूं, उसके बाद जैसे आपकी जो नॉलेज है वो बढ़ती है, यू रीड न्यूज़पेपर बुक्स और यू डू एनी कोर्स रिलेटेड टू फाइनेंस. तो जैसे जैसे आपकी नॉलेज बढ़ती है देन यू कैन डू द डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टिंग ऑल्सो. एक दो स्टॉक्स लो, ट्राई करो, अपने क्राइटेरिया लगाओ, देखो कैसे परफॉर्म करते हैं. जैसे छोटे अमाउंट से म्यूचुअल फंड स्टार्ट करा था, उसी छोटे अमाउंट से डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टिंग स्टार्ट करो. और फिर धीरे धीरे देखो कि आप जो मैट्रिक्स आपने रीड करे हैं, ROE, ROC, डेट इक्विटी रेशियो, वो आप उसमें लगा के तो देखो देखो कैसे कंपनी परफॉर्म करती है. और इन केस नहीं परफॉर्म करती तो सी द रीजन वाई दे आर नॉट परफॉर्मिंग, कौन सा ऐसा मैट्रिक्स है जो आपसे मिस हो गया है. तो वो ग्रेजुअली आप यू विल इम्प्रूव, वंस योर नॉलेज इम्प्रूव्स यू विल बी एबल टू फाइंड द गुड स्टॉक्स आल्सो एंड आल्सो द म्यूचुअल फंड्स.
Okay. And even when personally investing in companies with a long-term growth potential, what factors, financial factors or metrics do you take in consideration when you assess these companies?
क्या था ना अर्नब, जैसे मैंने स्टार्ट करा था ना 2011 में, तो मेरा एक क्राइटेरिया था कि मैं ना डेट इक्विटी रेशियो देखता था कि वो जीरो हो, ठीक है, या बहुत ही लो हो. क्योंकि मेरे को ये भी, बिकॉज आफ्टर रीडिंग द इंटेलिजेंट इन्वेस्टर, मेरे को ये भी देखना था कि अगर चीज़ें मेरे अगेंस्ट में जाएंगी तो वो कंपनी सरवाइव करना चाहिए. ठीक है, दैट इज हैपन पर्सनली ऑल्सो. अगर मेरे पास ज़्यादा डेट है तो इफ़ समथिंग हैपन्स लाइक जॉब लॉस होता है या कुछ कुछ और होता है, तो देन आई विल बी अंडर लॉट ऑफ प्रेशर. बट अगर मैं डेट फ्री होऊंगा या कंपनी डेट फ्री होगी तो जो डिफिकल्ट पीरियड होगा दे विल बी एबल टू सर्वाइव. उसका होगा क्या, रेवेन्यू ड्रॉप होगा, प्रॉफिट ड्रॉप होगा, बट उसका इंटरेस्ट आउटगो नहीं है. तो जब इंटरेस्ट आउटगो नहीं है तो उसको बस थोड़े टाइम के लिए द कंपनी हैज़ टू ओनली सर्वाइव. ठीक है, वंस
Yeah.
द टाइड टर्न तो इट विल गो अप, प्लस जो कंपनी उस टाइम पे डेड हुई होंगी उनका मार्केट शेयर भी उसको मिल जाएगा. तो इनिशियली मेरा ये क्राइटेरिया था कि हमेशा डेट टू इक्विटी लो रखो. ठीक है, वहाँ पे क्या है, आपका जो रिस्क है वो कवर हो जाता है. प्रमोटर होल्डिंग हाई होनी चाहिए, मोर देन 50%, सो दैट देयर इज अ स्किन इन द गेम. उसका मतलब ये है कि कंपनी यहाँ पे लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए है. अदरवाइज अगर प्रमोटर उसमें 10% पे बैठा है, दैट मीन्स कि प्रमोटर की डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर नहीं है उसके अंदर. इट्स द इन्वेस्टर्स हु आर रनिंग द कंपनी. और इन्वेस्टर लॉन्ग टर्म नहीं सोचते, उनके लिए 10 years या 5 years के अंदर दे हैव टू सेल द इक्विटी. रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी देखो, मोर देन 15%, रिटर्न ऑन कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड, और शेयर्स जो हैं वो प्लेज नहीं होने चाहिए. सो दीज आर 4-5 क्राइटेरियाज विच आई सी. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस बिजनेस ग्रोथ पोटेंशियल होना चाहिए, दिखना चाहिए कि हाँ देयर आर टेल विंड्स विच विल ड्राइव द इंडस्ट्री फॉर नेक्स्ट 10-15 years. तो इस टाइप का, जैसे मैं आगे अभी आपको रीसेंट एग्जांपल दूं, तो एज ए टीम हम लोग जैसे रिसाइकिल पे बहुत फोकस है। तो व्हेन एवरीवन इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द विकसित भारत, राइट, 2047, और डेवलपमेंट की बात करते हैं, 10 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी, 20 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी। सो वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द कंजम्पशन ओनली, कि हाँ यहाँ पे कंजम्पशन बढ़ेंगी। बट इफ़ यू सी ऑन द अदर साइड, अगर आपकी कंजम्पशन बढ़ेगी तो आपका जो वेस्ट है वो भी बढ़ेगा, उतना ही जितना कंज्यूम होगा उतना ही वेस्ट बढ़ेगा। सो वन कैन लुक एट द कंपनीज विच आर इनटू वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट, क्योंकि आप यू कैन नॉट डू द डेवलपमेंट विदाउट मैनेजिंग द वेस्ट प्रॉपरली। ठीक है, आप जैसे अभी रिसेंटली दिल्ली में हुआ था वो वेस्ट का पूरा पहाड़ बना हुआ था। सो यू कैन नॉट हैव दोस possible when you say that we are a developed country. So you have to manage your waste in a proper manner. So we looked at the companies which are into wastewater management or waste management, into e-waste or rubber tire uh, recycling. And this is the theme which we think is for next 10-15 years, because as you grow towards development, the consumption will be increased, at the same time the waste will be increased. So this is how we pick the theme and then look for the companies within those themes, and then the criteria which I told you, then we have put in those criteria into it.
Okay, and has it ever been that the company you're researching or the company that you want to select doesn't have a very good fundamental basis, but you believe that, its business model might be something that gives better returns in the long term?
See, होता क्या है ना, sometimes what happens is some companies go through a difficult phase.
Yeah.
If I can give you an example, let me give you an example about the company. It's Force Motors. So I was holding this company since 2015. So that company wasn't doing well. It did well in 2017, but after 2070, it wasn't doing well. And then this 2020 came. But I was sure that this is one of the companies which is one of the oldest in India, because पहले वो आता था ना, बजाज टेम्पो। तो
Yeah.
ये फोर्स मोटर्स एंड बजाज हैज द टाई अप, राइट। सो दे यूज्ड टू मेक दैट टेम्पो। उसके बाद दे उन लोगों ने सेपरेट कर लिया था अपनी कंपनी। But I still hold on to that company, कि this company can do well because they have the 70% market share in the travelers, and they do the engine manufacturing for the companies like BMW, Mercedes, and all. So I was pretty sure that the company is going through a bad phase. So once the things will be in favor, this company can do well, because this is not a new company; it's the 50-year-old company. And I think in last year, this company from 1,000, this company like went to around 10,000. So currently it's around 7,500, but it has given a return of around 7x. So it's you have to believe in the business model and also the person who is running it. If the person who is running it, I believe, personally believe, if a person is ethical, right, and care for his employees, the employees also gives 100%. Even though if a company is going through a bad phase, that person has the potential to turn around that company. At least, even if the company is not turned around, at least he has given his 100%. So when a person gives his 100%, he has given like everything to it. And I have seen promoters individually turning around the companies. You can see with Aisha's also. Aisha's share was, I think, 10-15 rupees in 2007 or something, and now like it's all time high.
Okay, so some weight has to be given to, some qualitative factors as well, aside from the quantitative, is what you see.
For us, the
And
qualitative factor is the most important. The person who is running the show is the most important.
okay, and building on that, when you are researching on these companies, what are your most trusted sources? Is it some specific websites or maybe directly the financial statements of these companies? What are these sources?
Sources में I can say that पहले तो it's the company website, because
Mm.
when you go to a company site, you get the authentic information. That you get the con call, you get the annual reports or any article related to that company. Or you can go to the exchange. From exchange also, if you want to get any information related to say shareholding pattern or any other information, you can get from there. Apart from that, we do this scuttlebutt activity also. Like we meet the promoters also. So we meet the promoters, see what his vision for next 10, 15 years, and do the factory visit and see what the environment in the office is. So we do these quality checks. We check with the employees, like, are you getting the salary on time, or your like you get the holidays as per the schedule given, or you are working within the timelines. So there are some qualitative factors which cannot be quantified. So we do those basic checks before we put the like before we give the more weight to that company.
And being in such a place where managing maybe crores worth of funds, you're actually responsible for other people's money even. Now that we've talked so much about, focusing on fundamentals and qualitative factors, just a question came up to my mind. Do you also perform any sort of, maybe in the stage that you are, any sort of tech analysis?
Tech analysis, see, I see only tech analysis while buying any particular security. Uh, because buying at the right price is very important. We have done our research, but if that stock has already gone up by 5 times, then we have to wait. I can give you an example. I liked Mrs. Bector's when the even before the IPO. This is one of the research criteria I'll share with you. See, it's companies. It's not about companies you can find only on Skinner. You can find companies sometimes around you. So you see, everyone likes the bread and buy their breads every day. So one day, like generally we used to buy the Britannia bread, but one day I went to the shopkeeper nearby and asked for a bread. Britannia bread was not there, and he has given me the English oven bread. So when I like have the English oven bread, I found that the this bread is much softer than the Britannia, and the packaging is also very good. So this is what I realized at that time. This product is better than Britannia. But then the IPO came. I read in the newspaper there is a company called Mrs. Bector's, and they own English own brand, and they are coming with an IPO. But at that time, I did not participate in the IPO because there are like what is happening currently. It was subscribed, I think, 100 times. So I thought the price would be very high when it will be listed. So I put that in my waiting list, right? I uh, I thought that we have a criteria like if we like the company, we don't buy in the IPO. We generally see what happens after 4 5 months because there are investors who just went through the IPO and they want to just have the listing gains.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we waited for 4 5 months. Uh, it went to around 600, and after 6 months, it came down to around low was 240. But we bought at 260 rupees, uh, and the price is now close to 1900. So buying price is very important. If we have bought at around 600, our return would have been 3x. But now we waited for the right price and we took the position at 260 rupees. So our return is close to 8 9x. So even though the fundamentals are good, everything is going, but you have to wait for the right price. You cannot buy at a P multiple of 100. Just wait, you will get the price. Just put it in your watch list. Whenever something bad happens, there would be a correction, then you can enter.
And talking about correction, now we are in such a bullish phase of market. The valuations are going haywire. and all of that. So it begs the question, like, how do you go on about reconciling your market, your strategy with the market behavior, especially in times such as these?
Uh, I just want to ask you, like, how can you say the markets are at all-time high?
The Nifty and the Sensex are have breached 26,000. You see several articles of maybe the research analysts and all of that. They're concerned about valuations in the maybe the micro and the small cap segment and the mid cap. The large cap might be doing a bit fine, but you see all of these reports, all of these people speaking about you know the need for a correction maybe. So how do you assess that? How do you?
So that is why I told you also listen to the people who are vintage in this. Because if you listen to the CNBC and all, they don't go beyond 1 year, right? If you ask them what will happen in next 10 years, they they have no clue because their business is such they have to keep track of what is happening, say after 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. But when you listen to people like Rakesh Jhunjhunwala or Ramdev Agarwal, they tell you that you should not see what is happening in the market. You see the structural trend, what is happening with India. So invest for long term. If you see things in India, when you compare it with the other countries, rest of the world, your GDP is highest. Your average age of the population is close to 27, 28. Your fiscal deficit is under control. Your current deficit is under control. You have a stable government. Uh, your forex reserves are at an all-time high. Your half of the population is uh, still need to come to the level of middle class or below middle class. So you have a huge population of 120 million, 140 crores, which is providing you the huge market. अभी हमारे पास there are only 15 crore डीमेट accounts. ठीक है, in a population on 150 crores. ठीक है, अभी तो 10% ही है. Whereas in US close to half of the population has the डीमेट account. तो ये जो नंबर है जब 50 पे पहुंचेगा, 50 CR पे पहुंचेगा, तो आपके पास इतना पैसा मार्केट में आएगा कि यू आर नॉट डिपेंडेंट ऑन FIs टू रन योर indexes or your company. And this is what you are seeing currently also. You have a SIP amount of 25,000 crores which is coming every month. तो अभी जो झुंझुनवाला बोलते थे ना कि यार उनसे पूछते थे कि जो 2003 से 8 का जो बुल रन था उसके जैसा कभी नहीं आ सकता, बट ही ऑलवेज यूज टू से कि द मदर ऑफ ऑल बुल रन इज स्टिल टू कम, यू जस्ट हैव टू बिलीव इन इंडिया. तो वो यही तो देख रहे हैं कि यार अभी तो इंडिया के अंदर आप 10% पे ही टच करा है आपने तो. ठीक है, अभी तो आपने हाफ ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन भी टच नहीं करी. तो अगले दिन क्या होता है मैं कह रहा हूँ, हो सकता है मार्केट विल गो डाउन बाय से 20%, 25%. हाउ डज इट मैटर इफ यू आर इन्वेस्टेड फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म? डोंट टेक द लीवरेज एंड जस्ट होल्ड ऑन टू योर सिक्योरिटीज. आप खुद बताओ 10 years 15 years डाउन द लाइन वेयर ऑफ द मार्केट वुड बी हायर फ्रॉम हेयर. ठीक है,
Yeah,
सो
yeah, a lot higher than
लॉट हायर
what's
फ्रॉम हेयर.
available.
सो हाउ डज इट मैटर अगर वो नेक्स्ट ईयर अगर वो गिरती भी है? प्लस अगर वो गिरती है तो यू आर गेटिंग दो सिक्योरिटीज एट डिस्काउंट. ठीक है, जो
Yeah,
100 वाली चीज़ आपको 70 की मिल रही है, 60 की मिल रही है, 65 की मिल रही है, तो आपके लिए तो अच्छा ही है. यू आर गेटिंग मोर यूनिट्स एंड मोर शेयर्स. तो सो सेट अ टारगेट दैट यू हैव टू सी योर पोर्टफोलियो इन 2040 और 2040 2047 रादर देन सी योर पोर्टफोलियो नेक्स्ट 2 years. तो आप अपना पोर्टफोलियो 2 साल के लिए बिल्ड नहीं कर रहे, आप अपना पोर्टफोलियो 20 years के लिए बिल्ड कर रहे हो. तो ये जो इवेंट्स है ये हमेशा चलते रहेंगे. वॉर्स जो है वर्ल्ड में चलती रहेंगी, बट मार्केट ने हमेशा हाई जाना है ऊपर. सेंसेक्स 1980 में 100 था, आज की डेट में वो इट्स 80,000. बीच में हर्षद मेहता आ गया, डॉट कॉम बबल आ गया. ठीक है, फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस आ गया 2008 के. अभी कोविड आ गया, बट मार्केट ने फिर भी न्यू हाई बनाया है. तो अगर आपने एक टीम में पैसे डाले होते, आज निकाले होते तब भी आप हाई पे बैठे हो ना. तो ये इवेंट्स इतना मैटर नहीं करते इफ यू हैव ए लॉन्ग टर्म विजन. तो अपना बाय, अच्छी कंपनी लो, अच्छे म्यूचुअल फंड लो और अपना उसके साथ स्टिक रहो और डू नॉट लिसन टू द नॉइज जो होता है, क्योंकि हम नॉइज पे रिएक्ट कर देते हैं. आप यू डू योर जॉब जो आप कर रहे हो, जस्ट ऑन एवरी month, just put the amount in the direct equity or into the mutual fund. Do not listen to the noise. बस वो करते रहो in a disciplined manner.
So a very big keyword here is discipline, right? Especially when you're going for the long run.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and now since we might be a bit low on time, so I'll just ask you a bit of miscellaneous question that I had, right?
Mhm.
Just a bit of your opinion on, investing in these small and micro cap equities for maybe the long run, even. How would you assess that?
Uh, क्या होता क्या है ना, माई जैसे मैं अगर पर्सनली बोलूँ, माई इंटरेस्ट लाइज इन स्मॉल एंड माइक्रो कैप फ्रॉम द स्टार्ट। क्योंकि होता क्या है यार, जो बिग कंपनीज बनी है, जैसे एग्जांपल रिलायंस है, इन्फोसिस है, विप्रो, दे गो थ्रू दी दैट फेज ओनली, राइट? कि पहले माइक्रो थी, फिर स्मॉल थी, फिर मीडियम थी, देन बिकम ए लार्ज कैप, राइट? तो if you are finding a small company with a good fundamentals like good promoter holding, low debt, your ROE is high, ROCE high, operating margins are good, no pledge, plus the tailwinds are there, business is expected to grow well, तो आप उसके अंदर you can invest in that companies। और एक बार आप छोटा अमाउंट डाल के तो देखो, इन्वेस्ट से 5,000 रुपीज एंड सी हाउ दैट कंपनी परफॉर्म्स। उसकी एनुअल रिपोर्ट पढ़ो, उसकी कॉन कॉल सुनो, यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड यू फील मोर कॉन्फिडेंट कि यार है तो स्मॉल, बट आई थिंक दिस स्मॉल कंपनी कैन डू वेल इन द फ्यूचर।
Okay. And just a final question now that we're on the matter of, growing companies for the for the longer run. Uh, in just your personal opinion, what sectors do you think will become, the market leaders, the leading what when let's say the next 10 to 15 years, or maybe let's say in a medium term, 5 to 10 years, what sectors would do you think would be thriving even the most out of all? What sectors do you believe?
पर्सनली आई थिंक ऑल द सेक्टर्स विल डू वेल। ठीक है, अभी हर सेक्टर के अंदर ग्रोथ है, यू टेक एनी सेक्टर, ठीक है। हर सेक्टर में ग्रोथ है बिकॉज आवर पॉपुलेशन इज सो ह्यूज। ठीक है, अभी हम टीयर 2 टीयर 3 सिटीज तक तो गए भी नहीं है। ठीक है, बट 4 5 sectors which I think can do well is first the recycle, because if you are saying the Viksit Bharat, you have to take care of the waste also. Second, as you move towards a developed economy, the consumer discretionary will in consumer spending will increase on discretionary spending will increase. So people would be spending more money on the interior of their houses, on kitchen appliances, or say travel more. So these are the this sector consumer discretionary I think can do well. The travel and tourism, because as you get more money, you will tend to travel more. This third, the technology sector. The technology sector, I think, is the backbone, because when you are talking about the developed economy, you have to be do things digitally. So that sector will also perform well. And apart from this, I think the hospital sector can do well. In terms of होता क्या है कि when you go towards a developed economy, तो आपकी जो एक्सरसाइज है, ठीक है, और डाइट है, वो हिल जाती है, बिकॉज नाउ यू हैव द मोर मनी, सो यू ईट आउटसाइड मोर इन कंपैरिजन एट योर होम, योर mental pressure is also very high. So as a result, I think the hospital sector also can do well in next 10, 15, 20 years, and it act as a like defense in your portfolio.
Yeah. I think that should be the end of all the questions. I think we've already taken about an hour of yours. So, just ending with all of this, very, very sincere gratitude on my behalf and the Commerce Societies for taking the time to be with you today. And personally, I think this is one interview I would have personally loved to listen to. So, thanks a lot for everything that you've given us today. Even as an interviewer, I think personally, I've If I was listening to a podcast, I would have loved listening to whatever you had to say today. Thanks a lot for that, sir.
And thank you, Arnav, for giving me this opportunity. Uh, I started late. I started in 2028. When I started at the age of 28, but I always, when I was in the corporate world also, so I used to tell my team that you are 21, 22. तो आप जितना जल्दी start करोगे, then it will be really beneficial for you because now you have the long runway. ठीक है हमारे पास देर वॉज नो वन टू गाइड अस आई वो लाइक वी वर एक्सीडेंटली एंटर्ड इनटू दिस आप लोगों के पास गाइडेंस है जितनी जल्दी आप स्टार्ट करोगे बिकॉज इनिशियली यू डोंट हैव दैट फैमिली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी सो यू कैन सेव हाफ ऑफ योर सैलरी ऑल्सो तो एक सेकेंड सोर्स ऑफ इनकम क्रिएट हो जाएगा आपका एट द एज ऑफ 40 विच विल बी रियली हेल्प यू इन बिल्डिंग द वेल्थ उसके बाद आपको रिटायरमेंट का सोचना नहीं पड़ेगा कि मेरे
And
को
yes,
रिटायरमेंट में कितना अमाउंट चाहिए.
yes, I think even personally as commerce students, who also want to go into finance, I think, getting in early in the market itself, I think it's very important for us to actually understand the workings of.
और ये बहुत
Mm.
सिंपल है इट्स नॉट ए कॉम्प्लेक्स यू जस्ट जो यू रियलाइज कि ये सिर्फ डिसिप्लिन है ठीक है वो डिसिप्लिन ही हम मेंटेन नहीं कर पाते टू इन्वेस्ट कंसिस्टेंटली मंथ ऑन मंथ ठीक है हम बहुत लेट आई हैव सीन पीपल रियलाइजिंग वेरी लेट इन थर्टीज
Yeah,
रियलाइज करते हैं कि यार वी वुड हैव इन्वेस्ट स्टार्टेड इन्वेस्टिंग इन ट्वेंटीज बिकॉज थर्टीज में क्या यू नाउ यू हैव नंबर ऑफ ईयर्स लेस एंड यू हैव टू नाउ इन्वेस्ट मोर प्लस यू हैव द फैमिली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज तो अगर आप जल्दी स्टार्ट करोगे तो 30-35 में तो आपका पोर्टफोलियो ही बन जाएगा.
yeah, I think so. Even personally, I'm trying to, get in on the market itself, investing in MFs and ETFs and all of that. So I think
और
even today, whatever you said, I think even personally for me helps a lot.
you can say to your other like fellow colleagues to other students also it's not the amount आप 500 से भी स्टार्ट करो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है लेकिन आप जल्दी स्टार्ट करो एंड कंसिस्टेंटली एंड मेंटेन द डिसिप्लिन ये रखो.
Yes, sir. I think that's very important. That's very, very important. And thank you so much, just on a final note, for doing this for all of us.